Hey everyone. Okay, we are up to lesson 58, and this is again about active and passive voices in the past tense. And the example sentence we see this time is Санкт-Петербург был построен Петром один, or I guess Первый, actually, Peter the First, not Peter One, Peter the First, so Первый. So St. Petersburg was built by Peter the First. So here you can already see how the past tense passive voice is formed, and it's similar to English. The word "был" means "was" in English. So just as in English you'd say St. Petersburg was built by Peter the First. The difference is that here the subject, the thing that actually did the verb, is again in instrumental form. So just as we saw in the previous lesson, the subject that's doing the verb, if there is one, is in instrumental form. But yeah, the only thing you really change for the past tense is you use был or была for a female subject, and then the verb has this sort of funny construction with an N on the end, postроен in this case. And that's it. That's really all that you do. So it's fairly straightforward once you get used to it. You just need to know the forms of each verb. But there's kind of a rule for that, which we'll see later in the lesson. But first, let's go ahead and listen to these two folks talking. So these are two guys. One has a long piece of paper and what looks like it could be. I guess it's a calculator. It could be a mobile phone, but I think it's a calculator that he's holding in his hand. So let's see what these two guys have to say. Come on.
Что ты делаешь?
Да вот считаю.
Что считаешь?
Смотри, за последний год мной было выпито 54 литра пива, 4 литра водки. Еще было съедено 105 бизнес-ланчей. На такси было потрачено 15 тысяч рублей.
Ого, интересно, а еще что?
Ох, еще было посмотрено 8 фильмов в кинотеатрах, прочитано 4 книги. В музее я был только 2 раза с сестрой.
Ну ты бухгалтер.
Это еще не все. Было куплено 4 ненужных рубашки. Было потеряно 2 зонта, 3 мобильных телефона и 1 девушка.
Это как? Потеряна девушка.
Ну, мы с ней расстались.
Да, печальные итоги года.
What a voice on that guy. That guy who spoke the last line. He sounds like he really should be the Russian actor for Kermit the Frog, for the Russian version of. Okay, anyway, so let's go ahead and go through the dialogue line by line. The one guy says,
Что ты делаешь?
"What are you doing?"
Да вот считаю.
Считаю. So this is it's an interesting verb. Let me go ahead and actually let me go to Wiktionary again and show you what Wiktionary says about this, because this verb has a few different meanings. Считай. Okay, so this is the first person form of считать. Here it says to count, but behold, it doesn't just mean to count. Yeah, it means to calculate or count, but it also means to think upon or consider. So this verb is often used in the sort of context where German would use the verb finden, to find, not in the sense of find something that you're looking for, but to find something in the sense of have an opinion about it. So it's like if you don't like the wine, you can say, I find this wine unsatisfactory. And that's what this means here in Russian. You can say in Russian, Я считаю вино плохо. I find the wine bad. In my opinion, in my consideration, the wine is bad. So that's another meaning of считать or я считаю. But in this case, yeah, he literally means it to calculate, like he's calculating numbers. So that's what he's doing. So so the guy says, "What are you doing?" "I'm calculating."
Что считаешь?
"What are you calculating?"
Смотри, за последний год мной было выпито 54 литра пива, 4 литра водки.
Okay, hold on. So look, за последний год, in the last year, and then what he said here was, I think, выпито, yes. Мной было выпито 54 литра пива. Now, this is actually the reverse. This is the backwards construction of what we saw before, because here he says mnoi at the beginning. So this is, again, this is the instrumental form of I or me. And so he could have just as easily said, I drank the beer. But he's forming it, I guess he's forming it this way just to demonstrate the passive voice, but it's kind of funny because the way that he's forming it, he could have just easily said, I drank this beer. But instead, what he's literally saying is, from me or through me was drunk 54 liters of beer. So you could say 54 liters of beer were drunk by me, or I drank 54 liters of beer. But he's actually choosing to formulate it as, through me was drunk 54 liters of beer. Very awkward formulation, but I mean, it's valid. It's linguistically valid. Just for some reason, maybe it sounds less awkward in Russian. I don't know. But again, it's the same formulation. So the piva, the beer here, is the thing that, is the object. This is what was drunk. And then было выпито, so it was drunk. Bilo meaning was for a neuter noun, and then mnoi, again, me in the instrumental case, and that's how you form the past tense passive.
Еще было
Oh, sorry, I forgot to do this part. 4 литра водки and 4 liters of vodka. So in the past year, from me was drunk 54 liters of beer and 4 liters of vodka.
съедено 105 бизнес-ланчей.
Okay, so what did he say there? He said, еще было съедено. Also was eaten or were eaten 105 business lunches. Business lunch is a business lunch. So also were eaten 105 business lunches.
На такси было потрачено 15 тысяч рублей.
Okay, на такси было потрачено. На такси было потрачено 15 тысяч рублей. So in taxi was spent 15,000 rubles.
Ого, интересно, а еще что?
Aha, interesting. But what else?
Ох, еще было посмотрено 8 фильмов в кинотеатрах. Прочитано 4 книги.
Okay. Oh, also in the theater, было посмотрено. So also were watched 8 фильмов. So 8 films в кинотеатрах. He only saw eight movies in the whole year. Seems like okay, fair enough. So he saw 8 movies in cinemas. And Bill. Hold on, let's see now. Oh, is it? Oh, it's just прочитаю. Прочитаю 4 книги. That's interesting. I wonder why. In this case, he doesn't say bilo. He just he leaves the bilo out. Maybe because he's including it with this one. So also were watched 8 films in the cinema and read 4 books. Okay, fair enough.
В музее я был только 2 раза с сестрой.
In the museum, I was only 2 times with my sister.
Ну ты бухгалтер.
Haha, well, you are a bookkeeper. Buchhalter. I think this is taken from the German Buchhalter. So like book holder, which, yeah, is like a bookkeeper in English, and an accountant.
Это еще не все.
But that's still not everything.
Было куплено 4 ненужных рубашки. Было потеряно 2 зонта, 3 мобильных телефона и одна девушка.
Okay, so it's going on, obviously. So, это еще не все. That's still not everything. Было куплено were bought 4 ненужные рубашки. Were bought 4 not needed shirts. Rubashka is like I think it's like a nice dress shirt, not like a t-shirt, but like a nice dress shirt. So, were bought 4 unneeded shirts. Было потеряно 2 зонта. So let's see. Oh, потеряно means lost. So we're lost 2 umbrellas. Okay, I get it. So we're lost 2 umbrellas, 3 mobile phones, and 1 girl. Okay, so he lost 2 umbrellas, 3 mobile phones, and a girl.
Это как? Была потеряна девушка.
Это как? How's that? Была потеряна девушка. Was lost a girl, or a girl was lost?
Ну, мы с ней расстались.
Well, we broke up. Literally, we with her broke up. But yeah, I broke up with her.
Да, печальные итоги года.
Yes, the regrettable results of the year, or the sad results of the year. Okay. So there you go. So this is, I guess, a good dialogue for indicating how past tense, past passive is used, because all of these things obviously happened in the past year. He's recounting the events of the year, and all of these things were passively done. He drank the beer was drunk by him, and also the vodka. Things were bought by him, and things were lost by him. All past tense, passive voice events. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Here we have a second dialogue.
А вы знаете, что за последний год в Москве было построено 140 многоквартирных домов?
А я тоже дом за городом построил.
В Москве было посажено 10 тысяч деревьев.
И я дерево около дома посадил.
В Москве было зарегистрировано более 100 тысяч новорожденных.
И у меня сын родился.
Почему вы только о себе говорите?
Потому что для меня семья — это главное. А почему вы только о Москве говорите?
Потому что я мэр Москвы.
Egoism in action. This guy is wearing this banner that says Mer, which, by the way, means mayor. That might clarify some things. Okay, so the guy, I think this person speaking here is the one wearing the Mer banner. He says...
А вы знаете, что за последний год в Москве было построено 140 многоквартирных домов?
Okay, so he said... did you know that in the last year, or in the over the past year in Moscow, were built 140 многоквартирных домов, multiple apartment buildings. So basically, this is the word for a not a house, not like a separate detached house, but like an apartment building with multiple apartments in it. So did you know that in the last year in Moscow, 140 apartment buildings were built?
А я тоже дом за городом построил.
And I also house in city built. За городом. Okay, за городом. So in like I guess in the suburbs, or like outside of the city. And I also built a house outside of the city.
В Москве было посажено 10 тысяч деревьев.
Okay, so that is this. So in Moscow were planted 10,000 деревьев. So in Moscow were planted 10,000 trees.
И я дерево около дома посадил.
And I tree close to my house planted. and I planted a tree close to my house.
В Москве было зарегистрировано более 100 тысяч новорожденных.
Okay. In Moscow, were registered more than более 100 тысяч, more than 100,000 новорождений, new births. So in Moscow were registered more than 100,000 new births or new babies born.
И у меня сын родился.
And my son was born, and by me a son was born.
Почему вы только о себе говорите?
Why do you only talk about yourself? Or why do you only about yourself talk?
Потому что для меня семья — это главное.
Because for me, family, it's the main thing.
А почему вы только о Москве говорите?
And why do you only talk about Moscow?
Потому что я мэр Москвы.
Because I am the mayor of Moscow. Okay. Doesn't seem like what you do when you go to meet the mayor of Moscow. If you go to meet the mayor of Moscow and he starts telling you about how many apartments were built in the city, it might not be the best thing to brag and say, "Oh, I also built a house and had a son." That might not be the point of the conversation. But okay. So yeah, again, you can see it's pretty straightforward. Дедушка построил дом. Grandfather, or no, дедушка is. Wait, no, that is grandfather, isn't it? Yeah. Дедушка построил дом. Дом был построен. So house was built дедушкой by means of дедушка. And then if we click on this, we will see... Yeah, so here now it says, it's funny that they didn't say this in the previous lesson, but in this lesson they say it should be noted that the active subject appears in the instrumental case. And the form of bleats in the passive verb for the object the action is directed at. Yeah. So here you go. Here's how you form those formations with the N on the end. So it's fairly straightforward. Again, you use был, which is the Russian word for was, or была for a female object, or было for a neuter object, or byli for a plural object. And then you just add, N or na or no or li on the end as appropriate, whether it's male, female, neuter, or plural. That's really it. So it's really just add the appropriate word for was, add, to the verb, add the N formation here to make it past passive. And then if you're writing about the actual subject that did the verb, then you put that in the instrumental form. And that's it. That's how you form the past tense passive in Russian. It's not that difficult, and it's not even that different from English. It's just a slightly different construction that you have to get used to. But I honestly think it's not that bad. But maybe that's just my opinion. Who knows? Okay, now we have some... So now we have 10 sentences, and for each of these we have to pick which one is correct. So, Moskovsky государственный университет, the Moscow State University, in the year 1755. So, was it founded, or did it? Well, yeah, obviously it was founded. Obviously, the university didn't found anything. The university был основан. The university was founded in the year 1755. И этот дом, something отцом 10 лет назад. So this house, okay, so отцом, the instrumental form of father, that's already a fairly strong clue that it's passive. So again, it's был построен. Этот дом был построен отцом 10 лет назад. This house was built by father 10 years ago. Ученый Флеминг something пенициллин в 1928 году. So the scientist A. Fleming discovered penicillin. Obviously, penicillin didn't discover the scientist discovered penicillin. So this is not passive, this is открыл. He discovered penicillin in the year 1928. Мы something эту машину вчера. So we bought this car yesterday. Obviously, the car didn't buy us. We bought the car. So no, you could say the car было куплено, that the car was bought by us, but that's not how the sentence is formed. So here it's active купили. Первая европейская конституция, something в Польше, in the year 1791. So the first European constitution, and again, obviously, the Constitution didn't come into effect. The Constitution didn't take on anyone. It was taken on, or it was accepted or adopted in Poland in the year 1791. So it было принято. It was taken on. In 1733, Kudu Frasi something Первый банк. Aha, so the first bank opened in Russia in 1733. This is actually interesting because in English you could say the bank opened, which is kind of active voice. But I think what they're looking for here is был открыт. So the first bank was opened in Russia in the year 1733. Einstein, something теорию относительности. So Einstein developed the theory of relativity. It's not that Einstein was developed by the theory of relativity. He developed the theory of relativity, and so it's создал. You could argue that the events which led to Einstein's birth were made possible by physics, and therefore Einstein was created by relativity, but not by the theory of relativity, by actual relativity, but the theory of relativity was developed by Einstein. Okay, вчера аэропорт something из-за плохой погоды. So yesterday the airport closed due to bad weather. Well, obviously the airport was closed. The airport didn't close itself. It was closed by human beings who chose to close it. So airport был закрыт. Shakespeare something 154 сонета. So obviously Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets. He was not written by 154 sonnets. And finally, самый длинный шахматный матч, something in 1984 между Kasparov and Karpov. The two famous Soviet chess masters back in the 1980s. So самый длинный, the most long, the longest шахматный матч in German chess is just called schach. But in Russian, I guess it's called shachmat, like checkmate. So the most long chess match, the longest chess match, again, the chess match didn't do anything on its own. It was played. The longest chess match was played, был сыгран, in 1984 between Kasparov and Karpov. So there we go. There we go. That's all correct. That's all fairly intuitive, I think. In contrast to the previous lesson, I think all these are pretty intuitive. It's pretty obvious when something was done passively and when somebody did something actively. That's pretty clear, I think. Okay. Moskovsky государственный университет. So again, we have Moscow State University. Was it built in 1703 by Peter I? Was it разрушен? What is разрушен? I'm pretty sure it's not that, whatever it is, but let me just quickly check. What is разрушен? Let's see. Razrushin. Oh, destroyed. Okay, so let's see. Was Moscow State University destroyed in 1931? I don't think so. No, that wasn't. No, World War II didn't start until about a decade later, so I don't think that. Yes, I don't think it could have been that. Was it founded by Lomonosov and Shuvalin? Okay, I guess this is the correct one because Peter the First built St. Petersburg. He was not that much involved in Moscow, as far as I know, so I think this is the correct one. It was founded by these two people. Moscow, была основана князем Долгоруким. Okay, so Moscow. Let me look up a translation for these quickly because I am not getting some of these words here. Knyaz is a prince. Okay, so Moscow was founded by Prince Dolgoruki. Moscow was Stilana was built by a French photographer in 1826. I'm going to guess that Moscow was not built by a French photographer or was founded in 1703 by Peter I. Again, the whole Peter I thing is St. Petersburg. I actually don't know who founded Moscow, but I'm going to guess by process of elimination that it must have been this Prince Dolgoruki. So I'll go ahead and go with that option. Okay, St. Petersburg, here we go. Now here we have the famous history of Peter, Peter the Great or Peter the First. So St. Petersburg was founded by Dolgoruki, no, that was Moscow, was founded in 1703 by Peter the First, or was destroyed in 1931. Okay, that will be Peter the First. В России считают, что радио. So in Russia, it is... it's found, or I guess it's calculated. Probably is a more sensible translation. It's in Russia. It's calculated that the radio было изобретение Popovim in the year 1895. So was invented by Popov in 1895. Was invented by Nikola Tesla. Or was invented by Marconi. Who is Marconi? I guess sounds Italian, maybe. Okay. Apparently, the answer here is they believe that it was invented by Popov in 1895. I don't know if that's true, but I guess people believe that in Russian. That's why they say "shitaya." This is like a Russian opinion. Russians think that the radio was invented by Popov in 1895. Первая в мире фотография, so the first photograph in the world, было сделано в России, was made in Russia. Было сделано в 20 веке, was made in the 20th century. Or было сделано французским фотографом in the year 1826. It was made by a French photographer in 1826. Okay, I'm pretty sure that photography predates the 20th century. It's conceivable that the first photograph was made in Russia, but I don't think that's the case. There was a Russian guy, I forget his name now, but there was a Russian guy who was really very pioneering for color photography. If you look around, in some places in Wikipedia, you can find really very impressive color photographs from Russia around the year 1900. So very late 18th century or very late 19th century or very early 20th century. And people often comment on those photographs and say that the date must be wrong. This is a color photograph. There's no way you have a color photograph like that from the year 1900. But no, it's real. It really is. There really was a Russian guy, and he was experimenting with color photography. He made very impressive color photographic prints of locations in Russia. Around the early 20th century. So he was a pioneering color photographer, but I don't think, this is something different. This is probably talking about a black and white photograph. So I think the most likely answer is that it was made by a French photographer in 1826. That seems the more probable answer there. And finally, Храм Христа Спасителься. This is... let's see. This is the Cathedral of Christ the Savior. Was founded by M.V. Lomonosov, was destroyed in 1931, or was built in 1703 by Peter I. By process of elimination, I'm going to guess that it's this one. And I don't know this history. I'm going to guess that it was destroyed by the Soviets because the Soviets were officially atheist and they destroyed a lot of churches because they were against religion. That's probably what happened here. So I'm going to guess that this Church of Christ the Savior was destroyed by the Soviets in 1931 because of their anti-religion policy. And it looks like that was correct. So, okay. All right, there we go. So a little bit of Russian history. I had to look some of that up because I'm not good with Russian history, to be honest. I'm not. This is probably stuff that every Russian school child learns in school, but unfortunately, I am not a Russian school child. Okay, and a final exercise here. Let's see what we. Oh, I see. Okay, so we have here in the example. This is a sentence in the past passive sense. And I guess we need to change it into the active passive sense. So, задача была решение студентам за 10 минут. So the exercise, I guess, the school exercise was solved by the student in 10 minutes. And then here's the active voice. Student solved the problem in 10 minutes, or solved the exercise in 10 minutes. Okay. All right, so what do we have here? Отчет был написан нами всего за день. So the report was written by us entirely in a day. So we wrote, now past tense. So писал, or finished writing. So it's, oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong key. Мы написали. There we go. Мы написали отчет всего за один день. We wrote the report entirely within one day. So yeah, taking the passive voice and turning it into active voice. Still past tense, but okay. Маршрут был пройден туристами быстро. So the route was traveled through tourists quickly. So okay. So tourists quickly traveled, or tourists, yeah, traveled the route quickly. Okay, so past tense is прошли. They went through or they went along the length of the route quickly. Мной было куплено 2 килограмма яблок. Through me were bought 2 kilograms of apples. Okay, so then the active voice is simply I bought. Я купил. Я купил 2 килограмма яблок. I bought 2 kilograms of apples. В баре друзьями было выпито 3 бутылки виски. In the bar, friends... in the bar, through friends, this is instrumental, in the bar through friends were drunk 3 bottles of whiskey. So active voice, друзья, the friends, выпили. Friends drank in bar 3 bottles of whiskey. Ребенком было сломано 6 игрушек. So the, through the child, or by means of the child, were broken 6 toys. So, ребенок сломал, past tense, past active tense. Ребенок сломал 6 игрушек. Child broke 6 toys. And finally, здания Сената и Синода в Петербурге были построены архитектом России. So the zdania, the buildings of the Senate and Synod. What is Synod? I think that's a building in St. Petersburg. I don't know exactly what building it is, but it's okay, it's the name of a building. So the buildings of the Senate and Synod in Petersburg were built by architects. Oh, I see. Rossi, not Russia, but an architect named Rossi. Maybe he was Italian? I don't know. Okay, so the buildings were built by the architect Rossi. Don't confuse that with Russia. It's not Rossiya, it's Rossi, a guy named Rossi. So, and then the active tense, or active voice, architect Rossi, past tense here, postroil. There we go. Lesson completed. So, active voice, архитектор Rossi построил здание Сената и Синода в Петербурге. The architect Rossi built the buildings of the Senate and Synod in Petersburg. And I'm just curious, what is the Synod? If we go and look at, let's see, let's come back here to Wiktionary. Does this actually... yes, synod. What is that? I actually do not know this word. An ecclesiastic council or meeting to consult on church matters. Okay. So the first two definitions are about something religious, but then the third definition simply states it's an assembly or council having civil authority, a legislative body. Okay, well, it's a building anyway. It's a building in St. Petersburg, which was built by the architect Rossi. So there you go. So that's lesson 58. Again, remember to use the byl, or bila, or bilo, or bili, was, or were, and then this formation of the verb with n on the end, and then the person or thing that actually did it goes in the instrumental case. And if you can remember that, then you can form the past passive form in Russian. A little challenging, but I think at least this is fairly logical. I think this is a construction which doesn't have too many exceptions. And that's nice, because once you can remember how this works, then at least it doesn't change too often. It doesn't change too much from one sentence to another, or one context to another. So there you go. All right, that was it. That was lesson 58. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you hopefully next time for lesson 59. Until then, ta-ta.